Let me first, on my own behalf and on behalf of my government, appreciate that we are having a conversation today about hustlers. This is very important to me. And I remember when I was informed about this meeting and about what Safaricom and your partners were intended to do. I was actually planning to have a meeting with you. So I think somebody must have leaked to you that that I was looking for you, because I have been sent by your customers. The people who cannot make it to your offices, the people who cannot make it to the negotiating table, have sent me to you, because they want the relationship between you and them to be mutual, and they want a win-win outcome out of the relationship that you have with them. Because they can't find their way to your good offices, they have given me instructions to come and speak to you about their issues. And I am happy that you already are walking in the correct trajectory. The announcements you have made here are very positive, in the right direction. I am very confident that walking this journey in the direction you have started, we will get to the correct destination. You are aware that in the last several months in the campaign, Fuliza was a very popular word in our campaign. And I'm happy that you. What we are asking, and I think we are on the same page on this, and I've had a long conversation with the governor. What we are asking is, we don't want credit listing to be an all or nothing, in or out engagement. We want credit listing to be a facility that gives everybody a chance to be their best in their own time. Instead of saying you are in or out, we should have a credit scoring mechanism so that we have graduated from the least to the best. And everybody can have a chance. Even if you are somewhere at the bottom, you can always walk your way up as you learn the ropes in the financial sector. So I am happy Governor has told me they are having engagement with the CRBs so that we can change the credit listing mechanism. Instead of blacklisting, we can have a graduated mechanism that allocates rating on every citizen that is borrowing, in the manner in which they have borrowed and in the manner in which they have paid back. That happens even for countries when we are borrowing money from IMF, from the World Bank. That is a universal principle of rating people on, or scoring people on matters credit. So that development is a very positive development for the millions of Kenyans who suffer great loss. They are excluded from formal borrowing, and they are also excluded from many other things. Some people lose jobs. Some people lose opportunity to be hired, because when they are asked to bring their credit listing status, if you are blacklisted, then you are told you are not a very good person. So that will now redeem close to 4 million Kenyans, and I want to say to Safaricom and your partners, you're walking in the right direction. Secondly, we have agreed, and I am happy the CEO of Safaricom, has announced here that access to Fuliza, the interest rate will come down by 50%. That is a step in the right direction. And many people will benefit from this step. I am very confident that we can do more and we can do better. And I want to encourage Safaricom and your partners to continuously assess this facility so that progressively we can move towards a much more favorable interest regime that gives majority of Kenyans the opportunity to have flexible arrangements. Secondly, we have agreed, and I am happy the CEO of Safaricom has announced here that access to Fuliza, the interest rate will come down by 50%. That is a step in the right direction. And many people will benefit from this step. I am very confident that we can do more and we can do better. And I want to encourage Safaricom and your partners to continuously assess this facility so that progressively we can move towards a much more favorable interest regime that gives majority of Kenyans the opportunity to have flexible arrangements on their financial requirements. I also want to say the following, that Fuliza is addressing a certain category of borrowers on short term. As you have indicated yourselves, there is more traction towards 14 days, 11, 14 days. It should speak to you that you need to think about other instruments and other facilities that should be able to take care of a slightly longer term borrowers. I also want to state here that the government of Kenya, and I have the nominee for Treasury here and the nominee for ICT here, these two gentlemen will be working with you in the financial fintech space because we want to work on credit, especially for our micro, small, and medium enterprises. That is the space where we have the largest opportunity. That is the space that employs almost 80% of our population, and yet they are constrained by access to credit. I have listened to many of them in the campaign trail. I was giving these good people an example of Shiko in Ruaka Market and her team. They borrow 1 million shillings every day, and they pay as high interest as 10% per day, which translates into 3,600% per year. Shiko and her team, they don't want free money. They are telling me, Mr. President, can we pay the same interest that Kenya Breweries is paying? Can we pay the same interest that the big companies are paying? That's all they're asking, and I don't think it's too much to ask. So, progressively, and the assignment I'm going to be giving to these two gentlemen is to work with you in the private sector to develop a product where Shiko, a mamamboga in Ruaka, and a boda person can also have access to credit at single-digit rate. And I am willing to work with you in a public-private arrangement so that we can mitigate some of the risks that come with lending to that category of Kenyans. I am very confident. I am very confident that if we give Shiko and her team, and many of them in Kenya, the opportunity to borrow at single-digit interest rate, they can double, if not triple, their business. And it is good for everybody. It is good for the fintech companies. It is good for the banks. It is good for the taxpayer. It's good for the taxman. And it's also good for me. So I think we can have a win-win. I think it's good. We're going to have a win-win arrangement. So in the short term, the assignment Eliud Owalo and my good friend Professor Njuguna will have is to structure with yourselves the Hustler Fund. We are ready to commit public resources to underwrite some of the risks so that chamas, cooperatives, SACCOs can access credit at single-digit interest rate. This is the future we are looking at. And from where I sit, we can make it a reality in a very short time. Secondly, in this space, we should also, and I have heard from NCPA, we should also find the model that encourages savings. Borrowing functions best